cloud. There we go. Okay. So as always, in the very beginning of class, you might hear a bell, which is just people arriving a little bit late. No worries whatsoever. I'm also having a little experiment. The puppy has been outside running around for the last 2 hours, and she's now passed out literally right down here. I'm going to try to leave her out of the crate. This may backfire partway through, which should prove entertaining if nothing else. I'm hoping she'll just sleep through class. We'll see. So, but we're going to try today. So let's all start by finding our comfortable seat. So as always, find your space on the mat, remembering that there are many options available to you. You can sit with your legs crossed like mine. You can sit with one leg up. You can sit on a pillow or on a yoga block, whatever helps your body feel most comfortable. And then once you've found that comfortable seat, just take a moment to settle into this space. You can allow your eyes to come to a half gaze or to close completely, and just begin to cultivate some nice, deep belly breaths. Now, as you breathe, we'll add a little bit of movement along with the breath. So on your next inhale, roll your spine out nice and long, sit tall on the mat. And then exhale, soften, relax, melt. And then inhale, lengthening, lifting. And exhaling to soften. Adding on from here, we'll bring our arms into this pattern. So on your inhale, sweep your fingertips to the sky. Now on your exhale, turn to your right. And we're just gonna let one hand fall before and one behind, or maybe that front hand will land on the knee. And then inhale, back to center, and exhale off to the right-hand side. Inhaling to center, and left. We're just going to follow this little twisting vinyasa on our breath pattern, remembering that we all have different lung capacities, so we're all going to be moving at a kind of a different pace from each other, and that's totally okay. Now, as you breathe, as you move, begin to notice if you would like to linger in any particular part of this pattern, or if you just want to change things, if you want to add stuff on. Tune into what your body wants to feel and let this movement space just become one of fluid, self-guided movement. And then as you're ready, simply begin to make your way back to seated. Draw your hands to heart center and take a moment to set your intention or your dedication for your practice today, your inner gazing point. And then once that intention is set, release your hands down to the mat. Let's sweep our feet around behind us and make our way into tabletop. So as always, wrists come beneath the shoulders, knees are under the hips. Let's move our spines. On your inhale, roll your heart forward and tip your tailbone to the sky. And then exhale, coil your belly in, drop the crown of your head. Inhaling, rolling open. And exhaling to coil. Now, if this is amazing, if this feels perfect, you can stay right here in cat-cow. You're also welcome to change this pattern. So you can begin to find freeform movement. Sometimes that means like circles with the rib cage or the hips. Sometimes it means stretching from one side to the other or forward or back. But just as we did in the beginning, let your movements emerge naturally, right? Let this be intuitive, self-guided space. And then begin to make your way back to a nice neutral spine, finding tabletop once more. And from tabletop, we're going to draw the knees a little bit closer together beneath the hips so that they're centered, so we feel really stable here. On your inhale, extend your right leg long behind you and lower your toe down to the mat. Begin to press into your right heel. So we begin to get that beautiful calf stretch along the back of the right leg. Again, just breathing, keeping our respiration nice and slow and smooth. And let's switch it out. Lower your right knee down. Extend your left leg long behind you and lower your toe down to the mat. Same thing, press into that left heel. Breathing nice and easily and smoothly. And remembering, of course, that you are always welcome to adjust this stretch, right? So if you need to come out of it a little, that's totally fine. There are many ways to modify. And then lower your left knee down, finding your way to tabletop. So from here, we're going to meet in forward fold. You can walk your hands back to stand. You can also step your feet forward. Once you've arrived, simply surrender. Bow your head, try to relax your neck and your shoulders. You can always find movement if that helps you release tension. I love to rock from side to side here. So whatever feels best in your body, that's what you do in this space. And then come to stillness. Bend your knees, exhale, roll your way all the way up to standing. Inhale, rise and open. And exhale, hands come to heart center. Release your hands down by your sides. And if you're not already there, make your way toward the top of your yoga mat. We're going to set up our first mountain pose of class as we begin our sun salutations. So as always, root your feet consciously. Feel the connection to the earth and then begin to draw energy, vitality up your body. So we feel the quads engage. We draw the navel in, tailbone lengthens, shoulders roll back and down, and palms face forward, standing tall, feeling proud and strong like the mountain. On your inhale, sweep your fingertips to the sky. Exhale, fold forward, bowing over your legs. Again, relaxing the head and neck. Bend your knees, bring your fingertips down to the mat or to your set of blocks. On your inhale, step your right foot back to lunge, and then lower that right knee down to the mat. So we're going to start today with the knee down as usual. You can grab your blocks and place them to either side of your left shin. You can also do this with your hands. On your inhale, look forward. Exhale, shift back. Let your hips lead the way. Left leg starts to stretch out. Inhale forward to lunge, melting that right hip toward the mat. And exhaling back. Let your next inhale bring you all the way forward to lunge. From here, tabletop, knees beneath the hips, wrists beneath the shoulders. Find a little movement of your spine here. So maybe that's cat-cow. Maybe it's finding free-form spinal movement. Again, we're just waking up into our yoga practice, loosening up the body. And then come back to your neutral spine. Walk your hands, one handspan forward, shift your shoulders over your wrists. So we find our half plank, knees, hips, and shoulders in one long line. Engage your core so that tailbone is still reaching nice and long. Bend your elbows and float your way down to the mat. Walk your toes back to create space beneath your body. Let your fingertips be wide. They come off the mat and begin to roll one shoulder and then the other, freeing your spine, breathing. Just enjoying this moment of creative cobra. And then return your fingertips to beneath your shoulders and press back. Tabletop or downward facing dog if you have one in your practice. Now, wherever you've landed, find movement. So if you're in tabletop, that's cat-cow or freeform spinal movement. If you're in down dog with me, walk out your dog, bend one knee and then the other. And then whichever position you happen to be in, come to stillness. Inhale to look forward. Exhale to step your right foot forward between your hands and lower that left knee down to the mat. So same options here, right? If you're using blocks, we frame that right shin with blocks. Fingertips can do the same if the mat feels comfortable and close today. Inhale to look forward. Exhale, shift back. That right leg starts to stretch. You might feel your right toes rise off. That's totally fine. Inhale forward to lunge. Melt your left hip. And exhale back. Let your next inhale bring you all the way forward to lunge. Turn your left toes under and lift that back knee. Look forward and step together. Fold, surrender, find some ease. Remember to relax your jaw, your face, any place you're holding tension. On your next exhale, bend your knees, roll your way all the way up to standing. Inhale, rise and open. And exhale, hands come to heart center. So we'll just check in right here. If we need to reset our mountain pose, we'll go ahead and do so. No big deal. Plant your feet. Again, that strong core, that beautiful open heart. On your inhale, sweep your fingertips to the sky. And exhale, fold forward. Bend your knees and plant your fingertips. Inhale to step your left foot back to lunge. Lower that left knee down. So remembering we can use blocks here or our fingertips. We're going to inhale to look forward and exhale, shift back. Now this time, let's let those right toes rise. So we get a nice deep stretch to the back of the right leg. You can also walk your hands back if that helps you get a deeper stretch. Even if they're on blocks, just bring the blocks with you. Inhale forward to lunge. And exhale, shifting back. Let your next inhale bring you forward to lunge. Turn your left toes under to, whoops, nope, leave the left knee down. Sorry, I autopiloted. So from here, we find tabletop. So knees come beneath the hips, wrists are under the shoulders. And then let's walk one handspan forward. Shift your shoulders over your wrists, finding your half plank. Now, yogi's choice right here. You can stay in your half plank. You're also welcome to turn your toes under and lift your knees for full plank. There's no right or wrong answer here. There's just yoga. So be where you'd like to be. On your next exhale, bend your elbows and float your plank or half plank down to the mat. Once you touch down, walk your toes back. Now this time, let's leave our fingertips beneath our shoulders or move them there if they're not for some reason. Lengthen the back of your neck by looking at the mat. We want to keep this line nice and long here. Keeping the neck long, on your inhale, roll your shoulders forward, up, back, and down. Exhaling to soften. 2 more times. Rolling open, low cobra. And then come down to the mat, turn your toes under, press back, tabletop or downward facing dog. Find a little movement right here and then come to stillness. Inhale to look forward, exhale to step your left foot forward between your hands. Lower your right knee down. So same options here, grab your block if you were using them. And on your inhale, look forward. Exhale, shift back. This time, left toes rise. Remember, you can walk your hands back. Inhaling forward to lunge. And exhale, shifting back. Just following the flow of your breath. Inhale all the way forward to lunge. Turn your right toes under to lift your back knee. Inhale to look forward. Exhale, step together and fold. Bend your knees, roll your way all the way up to standing. Inhale, rise and open. And exhale, hands to heart center. Take a moment right here to pause, to check in, to reset your mountain pose if you need to. And then on your inhale, rise and open. Exhale to fold forward. This time on the halfway. So hands come to the shins or to the thighs, shoulders rolling back and down. We create that flat back, halfway rise. Exhale to fold. Inhale, halfway. Exhale. One more time, halfway rise. And this time, exhale, bend your knees, plant your fingertips. Inhale to step your right foot back to lunge. Okay, yogi's choice this time. You can keep that back knee lifted or you can lower it depending on where your practice would like to be. We're doing leg day today, so of course it's more challenging when both of our legs are very active. So if you'd like to experience a little heat, a little challenge today, keep the knee off the mat. Plant your fingertips. You may find that since you're a little higher up, this is a better fit for blocks. Feel free to grab them if they're helpful to you. Inhale to look forward. Exhale, shift back. So the same movement, just with the knee lifted. Inhaling forward to lunge. And exhaling back. Now, as you flow in this space, we do something called hugging the midline, which means we're squeezing the thighs toward each other, even though, of course, they are in different spaces. Let your next inhale bring you all the way forward to lunge. Plant your hands. Now here's a little challenge for you. You can see if this is open to you. Step back to plank. Once you've found your plank with control, float your way down. And then simply relax down onto the mat. Walk your toes back, create space. And let's bring those fingertips wide. Roll one shoulder and then the other. Return your hands to beneath your shoulders, press back, tabletop or downward facing dog, yogi's choice. Come to stillness wherever you happen to be. Inhale to look forward. Exhale to step your right foot forward between your hands. Now, if your back knee is lowered, please lift it. So again, we're going to challenge ourselves with a little bit of a lunge sequence here. Remember, you can grab your blocks to make this a little more accessible. Inhale to look forward. Exhale, scoop your belly in, shifting back. Right leg starts to straighten out. Inhale, forward to lunge. And exhale. Let your next inhale bring you to lunge. Exhale, step together and fold. Soften, let it go. And then come to stillness. Bend your knees, exhale, roll your way up. Inhale, rise and open. Exhale, hands come to heart center. Release your hands down by your sides. We're going to set up our mountain pose one last time. So going through the final round of our sun salutation this morning. Now we're going to get into this one slightly differently. So what I'd like you to do is bring your hands to your hips and then look down at your feet and maybe bring your feet a little closer together because we're going to move into fierce pose. For me, for fierce pose, I like to have my big toes touching and my heels separate. So my feet are a little bit like this. So once you have your feet positioned and your hands on your hips, exhale, bend your knees and begin to sink your hips back. So they're reaching toward the back of the mat. Now, as you lower, we want to keep an eye on our core, not literally, obviously, but we want to draw our navel in and feel that tailbone nice and long and strong. We're protecting the back here. So we find fierce pose. Inhale to pulse up a little bit. Exhale, sink a little deeper. All right, on this next exhale, both hands come down, plant your fingertips. Inhale to step your left foot back to lunge. And again, yogi's choice, right? We can stay lifted, we can also lower that knee. On your inhale, look forward. Exhale, shift back. Now this time those right toes might rise a little bit. Inhale forward to lunge. And exhaling back. And just remembering, right, we're hugging that midline the whole time. Keeps our legs nice and active. Let your next inhale bring you to lunge. Okay, if you're using blocks, set them to the side, fingertips come down to the mat. Little challenge here, step back to plank. See if that works in your body. If not, no worries. Find your half plank or your full plank and chaturanga. Float your way down. Walk your toes back once you've arrived. And again, creative cobra. Fingertips are wide. Find those big, beautiful shoulder circles. Return your hands to beneath your shoulders and press back. Find your way to tabletop or to downward facing dog. On your inhale, look forward. Exhale to step your left foot forward between your hands. So again, yogi's choice here. If your back knee is lowered, you can lift it so we stay elevated. You can also keep that back knee down to the mat. Just depends on where your practice is today. Inhale to look forward. Exhale, shifting back. Maybe those left toes rise this time. Inhale forward to lunge. And exhale, shifting back. This next inhale, bring you forward to lunge. Exhale, step together and fold. Full lunar pause right here. Really just let it go. Relax your jaw, your neck, your shoulders, let your head dangle. You can shake your head no, shake your head yes. And then bend your knees. Exhale, roll your way up. Inhale, rise and open. And exhale, hands to heart center. Perfect. Take a moment to check in. Notice what's different. Come back to your intention for your practice. And then simply release your hands down. We're going to make our way all the way down to the mat for core cultivation. And today we're going to start on our bellies. So if you're using blocks, you'll want to just scoot those out of the way for a little while and come all the way down to the mat. So once you have touched down, walk your toes back to create space underneath of you. Fingertips can come to beneath your shoulders. From here, we're going to reach our toes long. Try to touch the back wall of the room, so really feel the length first. And then relax. Now, fingertips beneath the shoulders. Draw your navel in, so almost as though we're creating like a space underneath our belly buttons where you could slide a little penny. Just a little bit of a pull up off the earth. And then roll your shoulders back and down. Now, staying strong through the core, staying engaged, we're going to float our fingertips. All right, so let's put it all together. Lengthen your legs. Try to reach for the back wall of the room. Perfect. Inhale, let your toes become wide. Reach those arms forward. Exhale, elbows to sides, toes together. Inhaling, opening, lengthening. Exhaling, coming together. And as we flow right here, we just want to keep drawing our navel up off the mat. That's what helps protect the lower back. And release. Make a pillow with your hands. Rest your head and rock your hips from side to side. If it would feel good, you can bend your knees and bring them in as well. And then from here, we're simply going to roll over so that we can do some work on the other side. So come all the way down to the mat on your back. Relax your palms down to the mat. Draw your knees into your chest. Now on your next inhale, press your heels to the sky. So during yoga scissors, we want to pay a lot of attention to keeping our legs as straight as we can. Like in my body, my very tight hamstrings body, this is about as straight as I get in this position. But that means that as I'm pressing into my heels, I can feel this marvelous stretch all along the backs of the legs. So we really want to cultivate that. Relax your arms down to the mat. On your exhale, drop your right heel down. Maybe 45 degrees, maybe more, maybe less. Inhale to center. Exhale, lower that left heel down. And inhale to center. And of course, the lower that bottom heel goes, the more challenging this is. So you can really dial it in terms of what you'd like to do today. And then draw your knees into your chest. Rock from side to side, let it go. You might turn your head from side to side as well, just in case any neck tension cropped up. All right, one last core cultivator while we're down here. What I'd like you to do is direct your knees over your hips. So you'll immediately feel a little more challenge in your core. Draw your navel toward your spine. Now, the entire time we're here, I want you to be pressing your lower back into the mat. So if you start to come off, just draw your knees in and stop. It just means the muscles have fatigued, right? So we keep pressing in, we keep feeling that contact. Our bellies are very strong here. Now you can stay exactly as you are if this is already quite challenging. If you'd like to, you can add some movement. So press one heel away, inhaling back to center. Exhaling, pressing the other one away. And inhaling back. So the legs stay fairly low here, which means this really targets our lower abdominals. And depending upon how this feels, if this is super easy in your body and it's not in mine, but if it is in yours, that's awesome. You can switch to using both legs. And then inhaling back to center, but that makes me shake, so I'm just going to go back to one at a time. And again, check in. Is your lower back still connected to that mat? And then draw your knees back in, rock from side to side. And as you're ready, simply begin to make your way up to seated. And then from here, we're going to come to standing on the mat in a wide stance. If you can get there however you like to, I'm going to adjust the camera real quick. All right, so find your wide stance. We're going to start with toes out at about a 45-degree angle. Bring your hands to your hips once you've arrived. All right, on your next exhale, bend your knees, sinking down, high yoga squat, high malasana. Inhale to lift, and exhale to lower. Now on this next exhale, we're going to sustain down here and just check in on your hips. We want those knees, those legs turning out, right? So rather than scooting forward, we're opening out, we're opening the hips. Inhale to lift, exhale to lower. Okay, next exhale, little challenge for the legs. We're going to sustain right here in Malasana. Option 1, keep your heels on the mat. Option 2, lift to tippy toes. Heels are floating. And we just sustain right here, breathing nice and slow and smooth. And if your heels are lifted, lower them down. We're going to straighten those legs. Yeah, that's intense. So let your feet become parallel. Wiggle it out a little bit. Good job. On your inhale, sweep your fingertips to the sky. Exhale to fold forward. Nice wide-legged forward fold. Now allow your fingertips to touch down. So maybe that's to the mat or the floor. Maybe it's to a block at the center of your mat. And we're just going to move through halfway rise a few times. So inhale, halfway rise. Roll your collarbones back and down. We want to keep that nice flat back. Press your hips away from you, really feeling that stretch in the back of the legs. Exhale to soften. Inhale, halfway rise. And exhale. Inhale, halfway rise. We're going to sustain here. Wherever your fingertips happen to be, block, mat, shins, wherever, press into your fingertips to create even more length along your spine. That will in turn deepen the stretch happening along the backs of your legs. Just breathe. Yay, leg day. And release, relax, bend your knees slightly, roll your way back up to standing. Inhale, rise and open. Exhale, hands to heart center. Let's turn that right foot to face the short side of the mat. Left foot's gonna stay dialed out to the side. Bend your right knee. Turn your heart and your hips to face the broad side of the mat, and then expand your arms outward, finding your warrior two. Now, notice if this needs to change at all, right? You can always widen your stance. You can find a more comfortable way to be in this space. Flip your right hand to face the sky. Inhale, sweep up and back, reversed warrior. Exhale, right hand to right knee or right elbow to right knee. Reach that left arm long. And then inhaling up and back. So we're just going to find some dancing warrior right here. And then find your way back to your warrior two. Relax your arms down. Now from here, we're going to straighten that right leg and bring your hand to your right hip. Press your right hip back. So we're creating lots of space all along that right side. Sweep your right hand to the sky. And exhale, fold over. So we're making our way into triangle pose. That right hand is going to root somewhere. So it might be to the shin. It might be to a block that we bring to the inside of the right foot. It might even be onto the mat for a couple people who are really flexible. Lower your left arm down to meet your right. And then inhale, peel your body open. Exhaling, lowering down. And inhaling to peel. Okay, so we're going to move toward a little leg challenge here. We're going to move towards standing half moon pose. And there are a lot of options. For starters, you can stay right here. You can stay flowing in triangle. Your other option here is to sustain that expansion. So we leave that left arm high, turn to gaze at your foot, and bend your right knee, scooting that left foot in a little bit. Begin to transition your weight into that right foot. You can bring your right hand down to the mat or onto a block here and maybe float that left leg off the mat. You can touch it down and lift it up. You can experiment here. Remember, yoga is about curiosity, right? Other option, if you have found your balance, press into that left heel. Just finding your strength, your stability right here in standing half moon pose. Just breathe. And then wherever you happen to be, we are all going to come back to center. So we're going to lower that left foot down, lower that left hand down, and walk to the center of the mat. Forward fold. Just surrender. Relax your head, your neck. You can find movement here. You can bend one knee and then the other, finding a little flowing skandasana. And then coming back to center, we'll set that up on the other side. So we're going to walk our hands over to the left side so that that left foot turns to face the short side of the mat. Exhale, roll your body up, blossoming out, warrior two. And again, take a moment to seat this warrior two in your body. So this feels good, feels stable and strong. Turn your heart to face that openness. Radiate your arms out. Flip your left hand to face the sky. Dancing warrior, inhaling up and back. Exhaling, left hand or left elbow to left knee, right arm sweeps into extended side angle. Inhaling up and back. And exhale. And then find your way back to your warrior two. All right, so let's relax those arms down and move toward triangle. So straighten your left knee, bring your hands to your left hip. Hand, not both hands, one hand. Press your left hip back. So again, lots of length, right? We're feeling lots of openness all along that left side. Sweep your left hand to the sky and exhale. Fold over. Your left hand is going to land somewhere. So again, maybe the thigh, maybe the shin. It might be a block on your mat. Could even be the mat if you're very flexible. Lower your right hand down to meet your left. Inhale, peel your body open. And exhale, lower it down. So we just follow our breath right here, enjoying some of that deep rotation along the spine, that opening. All right, so let's begin to move toward yoga playground on this side, just experimenting with some stability and balance work, some strength work for that left leg. So option 1, you stay right here. You stay flowing in triangle pose. Option 2, bend your left knee, walk your left hand down to the mat. Maybe it's onto the mat, maybe it's a block, and scoot your right foot in a little bit, right? So we've shifted our center of balance, so it's over that left foot. Begin to experiment with maybe lifting and lowering that right foot off the mat. And maybe we stay right here. Maybe, if you find your balance, you press into your right heel, finding standing half moon pose. And again, just breathing, pressing your heel away from the crown of your head, radiating both arms out. Standing half moon is really just, it's such an expansive pose, right? There's energy moving in all directions. And then with control, wherever you are, we come back down, right toe touches down. Walk your hands to the broad side of the mat and fold. Surrender. Take a moment to have gratitude here for the amazing things your body will do. Bend your knees, exhale, roll your way all the way up to standing. Inhale, rise and open. And exhale, hands come to heart center. Perfect, release your hands down. And we're just gonna step the feet together. So one last little challenge before the downward slide. We're gonna do a little more work in fierce pose. So I'd like to invite you to find your Tadasana, your mountain pose that is most stable for then shifting back into fierce pose. And again, in my body, that's with the toes together and the heels a little separated. It makes it more comfortable for my ankles. So that's the position that works for me, but everybody is different. So bring your hands to your hips, roll your shoulders back and down. We're going to start with a nice long spine, draw your navel in. Keep that. As on your next exhale, we bend the knees and sink the hips back. Inhaling, lengthening. Exhaling. So we pulse our way down, finding fierce pose. And of course it gets that name because there's so much happening here, right? Our core is working, our legs are working. Inhale, sweep your fingertips to the sky. Exhale, sweep them behind you, still keeping that core nice and strong. Inhaling, sweeping up. And exhale. Last one, exhale, hands to heart center. Inhale and stand up. And just check in. Notice what is different. Find your intention again, your inner gazing point. And then simply relax your hands down by your sides and make your way all the way down to the mat, coming to seated. So we've definitely earned a nice stretch. Oh, the puppy is awake. Hi, Letha. We'll see how this goes. Draw your left heel in toward your body. Extend your right leg nice and long. So we're going to set up for that single-legged forward fold we do so often in class. Turn your heart toward your right foot. Inhale, create plenty of space. And exhale, fold forward over that right leg. So your fingertips can come down to your shin, they can touch your thigh, maybe a couple of people find the foot. And we're just gonna pulse right here. So we're gonna inhale to lengthen the spine and exhale, melt into the space you've created. And then very gently walk your hands back, roll your way back up to seated. Let's bring that right foot to the center of the mat. We're going to set up for our seated twist here. So you can keep your foot where it is. You can also cross your right foot over your left knee. Remember, if you choose this option, you need to be touching down both sides of the hips and touching down with both feet. So if you've got any limb floating at all, we come back to center. Sweep your right hand down to the base of your spine, and then at the mat right there, plant your hand, roll your shoulder back and down, and press into your palm. Inhale to sweep your left hand to the sky. Exhaling, turning to the right. Elbow to knee or palm to knee, and begin to feel that beautiful twist. Every inhale creating a little more length. Every exhale just softening, turning into the space you've created. And release. Come back across center, fingertips come over to the left. Bow your head and surrender. All right, let's feel that whole sequence on the other side. So we're going to switch feet. We're going to draw that right heel in and extend the left leg long. And again, let's start by turning our hearts toward that left foot. Inhale, create length, create space. And exhale, fold forward. And again, fingertips can be many places here. Thigh, shin, toes, wherever is accessible for you. Create plenty of length on your inhale and exhale to melt. And we just follow that pulse. Gently find your way back up to seated. Draw that left foot in to center. So seated twist, again, option, that left foot stays where it is or it crosses over, yogi's choice. Sweep your left hand down to the mat. Plant your hand, roll your shoulder back and down. Reach your right hand to the sky and on your exhale, turn to the left, elbow to knee or palm to knee, and begin to turn toward the back of the room. And again, just remembering your yoga breathing, right? Inhale, lengthen, exhaling into the twist. And release. Sweep your hands over to the right side. Bow your head and surrender. Coming back to center, we're going to find our way all the way down onto the mat. Drawing your knees in as you roll your way down. First stop is just rocking from side to side. Massaging your lower back, maybe drawing a nice big circle with your knees. And then come back to center. Open your arms out to either side. Make a nice big T on the mat and drop your knees off to your right-hand side. Turn your head to look to the left. And just try to let the earth hold you. Remember, you can also gently rock your head from side to side here if that feels a little better. On your inhale, come back to center. Exhale, drop your knees off to the left-hand side and turn your head to look to the right. Again, no tension, trying to let the earth completely support you here. Just allowing your body to surrender. And remember, you can also turn your head from side to side if that would feel good. Draw your knees back to center. And if there is any additional movement, any stretch, any asana, anything at all you would like to feel, take a moment to honor that request within your body. So maybe that's an inversion, maybe it's a little bit of happy baby or another twist, whatever would feel really good. That's what goes right here. Oh, get out of there. And then as you are ready, begin to make your way toward your Shavasana, your resting space. Remembering, of course, that there are options here, right? There are always options in yoga. So classical Shavasana is done with the heels wide, toes falling out to either side, shoulders relaxed, and palms face the sky. Now, if this causes any sort of discomfort in your lower back, there's a nice switch for that where you just bend your knees, planting your feet the width of the mat and let your knees fall together at the center. You are, of course, also welcome to take supine goddess pose here, bringing the soles of the feet together. Sometimes this can feel really nice. It's a deep hip stretch that can happen during Shavasana. And of course, child's pose is always an option. Seated meditation is an option. I'm sorry, you can't chew on that right now. So find your way into your preferred position for Shavasana. And then once you have touched down, simply relax. Take a moment to soften all the places where your body is touching the mat. Relax your jaw. Relax your eyes and your forehead. And then simply let go and float. allow your breath to create space within your body. And begin to find some little movements of your fingertips and your toes, just bringing you back to this day and this time. Point your toes away and reach your arms up overhead. Take a nice deep breath in, full body stretch. And then exhale, draw your knees into your chest and rock from side to side. Eventually finding your way all the way over onto your right side and just curling into the posture of the sleeping child. No tension at all. Take a moment here to connect one more time with your intention for practice. And to breathe it in. And then whenever you are ready and you feel your practice is complete, use your hands to help press yourself up to a nice, easy seated position. Bring your hands to heart center and close your eyes. We're going to close our practice this morning with a round of Om Shanti Shanti Shanti, a prayer for peace. Inhale. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Thank you so much for sharing your practice with me today. Namaste. Okay, you can have this back now, you and your little crinkle toy. All right, let me come up and shut off the recording.